Hello, dear members, and thank you for joining us on our product training for MagHealy today. I'm so happy that you joined, that you are with us today, because we prepared a very nice training as a kickoff for our MagHealy subscription topic that just went live a few minutes ago. Because our shops are now officially live, the newsletter will go out in a few minutes and inform all of you about the exciting news. My name is Martina Kling, and I'm welcoming you today from our Healy office. And we are really, really happy to share with you today some exciting news regarding the subscriptions, but also to train you on all of the features of our MagHealy, because this is going to be really crucial in the next period to share the information about the MagHealy, to share the benefits, to share how MagHealy is really enhancing our holistic lifestyle. And this is actually what we want to do today with our Chief Product Officer, Martin Wittmann, that will join us just in a few minutes. But before we really start with the training, I would like to give you a brief introduction on actually the same thing that I was already mentioning 3 days ago in our Frequencies and Friends call. But for those of you who were not in our Frequencies and Friends call, I really want to emphasize how excited are we about MagHealy, because truly, since we introduced MagHealy last year, it was very, very obvious month by month, or even more obvious month to month, how MagHealy is enhancing our Healy product, how many benefits can we achieve through MagHealy for ourselves, for our environment, for our pets and plants, and so on and so on. And all of this together was actually coming from you, because daily we started receiving feedback about the benefits of MagHealy and how you use it in your daily lifestyle, how you integrate it in your everyday life, and how happy you are about the product. And that was also the reason why we were thinking how to bring the product closer to you, how to reach even more people, how to excite the network with our product, how to make it approachable, and how to find further solutions to share MagHealy. And this is how we decided to introduce a new business model, subscription model with our MagHealy, really to give you more opportunities. And as I said in the Frequencies and Friends, the good news is that what we have today stays. So this means that the product that you already know, our MagHealy Professional with 4 applications and 86 unique magnetic field frequency programs, stays as it is. You can still buy it for the same price. So that's actually the good baseline for what we are now announcing, because we are just adding on it. We are introducing a MagHealy subscription plan where you just have more versatility, you have more opportunities, because the new entry level is going to be MagHealy Classic, which is to be purchased at a lower entry level, and that on this basic model you can add subscriptions of your choice. You can add Classic application, you can add MagHealy Atmosphere application, Water application, and MagMaken application to it. At any period in time, you can upgrade to your Classic or to your Professional model. So this means that you really have the full flexibility with our subscription model. And out of this, really amazing benefits emerge, because it actually extends our current offering. It gives more opportunities. It can ease the product entry, because now the product you can buy the product for €800 and share it with your fans, with your community, with your customers. And also they have the full flexibility in personalizing the product with the subscriptions of their choice. So also in terms of timing, there is full flexibility because you can subscribe for different periods in time between 1 and 12 months. You can also play with discounts because there it's also really mix and match. The more applications you book, the longer the period is that you book, the greater are the discounts. And all of that you can see in a very visual and dynamic way in our web shop that is already live. So I just suggest directly after our call, jump on the web shop, explore the opportunities, check the new landing page, because it is really amazing how everything looks like. And we are very, very proud to present you this MagHealy edition that really suits your needs and can be completely personalized. As well as I was saying in the Frequencies and Friends, also marketing wise, we are providing you full support. We prepared several videos that we will also share in our MagHealy launch newsletter that is going out just right now. We also have the new brochure where you can read everything about the new subscription model. We also have the price list where you can read all about the pricings for the MagHealy Classic Edition, which is going to be our new entry level, and of course also for the monthly subscriptions that will be dynamically calculated in your web shop, because based on what you have in your shopping cart, the discount will apply, and then the more the merrier, the more applications, the longer the period, the greater is the discount. The whole shop experience is completely new. We are really, very, very proud on our marketing and digital team, how beautifully it looks like. It presents all of the product benefits, and in the end, it offers you really, really amazing opportunity in a visual way to choose your preferred option. And with that being said, actually, I'm done with my short introductory, and I would like to invite Martin Wittmann, our Chief Product Officer, in our call, who is going to provide us a very nice training today on the MagHealy Classic Edition, which is going to be our new baseline model. And Martin prepared very nice presentations to guide you through the benefits of MagHealy Classic Edition and also all of the programs inside. So this is where we start today, introducing a new baseline model, and I'm so happy that Martin is with us. So Martin, the stage is yours.
Thanks a lot, Martina. So I'm really looking forward to the marketing materials because I saw all of them, and yeah, I think they're really the next level in marketing materials. So let's start with our presentation. So I'm going to introduce you in the general what is basically what are magnetic fields, how are they basically coming together, what are the effects, and also of course related to the Classic Edition, because this is the baseline edition that we have, and also a little guide I want to share with you, and all of those things we also going to have in the academy, and yeah, offer you the possibility to reuse or rewatch those things. Some of them are already inside. We're also introducing new courses for the MagHealy videos, so you have one video after another and a small test at the end to see if everything went, and a small certificate of course also. So let's get into it. So understanding and using MagHealy, so that's our topic. So what is it all about? So scientific basis of electromagnetic fields. So I think that's very, very crucial to understand what fields we are exactly talking about and how they are basically made up. And yeah, so first thing is, what is the structure of an electromagnetic field? So an electromagnetic field is a physical field produced by electrical charged objects like current and power in the cable, electrolytes in the human body. And it contains both magnetic and electrical properties. What does that mean? So basically, if you have a cable running through your house, any power line, whatever, and if current is flowing through this cable, then always also a magnetic field is created around this cable. And the same we know from induction heating systems, which work the other way around. So there you have a magnetic field, and you have basically your pen, for example, which is out of metal, and through the metal, basically, you have a magnetic field that's going through the metal, and a current is starting to flow through the metal because of the magnetic field, and then it gets warm. So you also have always warmth inside this whole equation. So as you know, if you already have the MagHealy, if you use it, it gets a little warm. Some really like it because, of course, it's nice on the skin if it's a little warmer. But this is not because this is a built-in heating system. No, it's because there's so much current flowing through the coil in the MagHealy that it gets warm. We all know this effect from those induction heating systems. But for you, the most important thing is, if you have electricity, you have a magnetic field. If you have a magnetic field, you have electricity at some point in some way, if you have some charged particles involved. So that's the first thing everyone needs to understand. And that's also how our body basically works. We have also electrical currents in our body, so we also create an electrical field, electromagnetic field, so we also create a magnetic field. So you could also say our aura or our bioenergetic field, that's this magnetic field in one way or another. So let's go to the next thing. So what are the properties of electromagnetic waves? And here it's quite important. You see on the left side, there's some part and there says MagHealy. So this is from 0 to 12.5 megahertz. That's the range basically where MagHealy is acting. So that's the frequencies that MagHealy actually produces. And of course, you have even higher frequencies. Then you have radio, microwaves, and then even X-rays for medical purposes. So those are really very high frequencies and have a different energy also. And usually those magnetic fields, or those light waves, basically, as we know it from visible light, travel with the speed of light also, of course. And of course, we have also different sources of electromagnetic fields. So we have natural sources, like everyone knows, the magnetic field of the Earth. We are used to that, our body is used to that. And if we don't experience this magnetic field of the Earth, we also experience different things in the body that are not, people usually don't feel well if they're basically isolated from this or artificially isolated from this magnetic field. We also know visible light. That's also a certain frequency spectrum that basically our eyes are mainly used to it. As we know, if we have the light of the sun, our body produces vitamin D. So all those things are somehow interrelated. And of course, we have man-made sources like electrical system, X-rays, mobile phones, and so on. And there we also know, some man-made electrical fields are not so positive. Of course, we have also devices like MagHealy that uses especially frequencies for us that are have a positive effect. And now we already saw this graphics in the slide before. So what is it about this sinus wave? So if it goes up and down around one middle line, basically it's called a sine wave. And here, if you have the left side, you see radio waves, and it's a very, very long wave. And then on the right side, you have gamma rays, and it's a very short wave. So basically the time that it travels from up over the line, below the line, and back is shorter. And on the left side, it's longer. And this means that the energy of this electromagnetic wave is also different. It is higher energy, and if it travels with a longer and less frequency, it has lower energy. So we are talking with MagHealy of a lower energy electromagnetic field that travels with a let's say a little deeper or longer through the body. So it's not so, since it's not so high in the frequency, it also permeates deeper usually than higher frequencies. So now the influence of magnetic fields on charged particles. I think that's one of the most crucial parts of this presentation, because I mean, everyone knows we have a magnetic field, it has current, it has a magnetic part in it. But what does it do? what does such a field do? It actually influences our body. And what does it influence? Especially charged particles. As you know, we all have all kinds of charged particles in our body. And if you basically have an electromagnetic field or a magnetic field, as the MagHealy produces, those charged particles are actually influenced. And that's where basically the physical effect of the magnetic field comes from. Yeah, and now how are those fields measured? So the magnetic field strength is measured in amperes per meter. And as you see on the right side, that's what I already explained. You have a sine wave, and 1 hertz is basically 1 cycle per second. So as you see on the left side, it starts in the middle, then it goes up, it goes down, and it goes up again. And this is basically 1 hertz. So if this cycle is in 1 second, so one cycle per second is 1 hertz. And yeah, if it's faster, it's more hertz. If it's less speedy, then it's less hertz. Yeah, and magnetic field measurement is also quite important, of course. And I think for us, the most important is the second point. So the magnetic flux density B is measured in newtons per ampere. And that's basically the new, let's say, more common unit. Newton per ampere, but formerly it was also called Tesla. And that's also what we use to basically tell people how strong the MagHealy magnetic field is. It's 300 microtesla. So it's not, let's say, very, very strong compared to an MRI, but it's quite strong compared to a usual magnetic field device. Yeah, and what does Einstein say about it? Quite a funny slide. So as you all know, his most famous formula is E equals mc to the power of 2. So energy and mass and the speed of light are basically in one equation. And as you can see here, that matter and energy are different forms of the same thing. So consequently, matter can be converted into energy and energy into matter. And what does that ultimately mean? It means that every electromagnetic field has an effect on matter, because those two things basically go together. So that's what we also always need to take into account. So how is a pulsed magnetic field generated? And that now goes into physical details, how MagHealy actually creates such a magnetic field. So to create a magnetic field, a wire is wound into a coil. Through a current is passed. So what does that mean in regards to MagHealy? So we have not a usual coil where you basically have one thing and wrap around a wire. No, we have a flat coil, which means you have a flat surface, and then you have basically a coil going through this flat surface. And there, current is basically passing through, and through the current passing through, a magnetic field is generated. As you can see here, it goes basically through this. And then if I take a MagHealy, I have one here. So how can you see? Maybe like this. So here, the magnetic field goes around the MagHealy and is generated basically by a coil that's going around this way. And the highest magnetic field strength is exactly at this point. So at this point, you have the highest magnetic field that basically comes out of the coil. And in the case of MagHealy, it's of course 2 coils. As you know, in the MagHealy application, we use 2 frequencies at the same time with 2 magnetic fields. And of course, we can modulate those magnetic fields with a frequency of up to 12.5 megahertz. And that's also the big difference between normal magnetic field devices and MagHealy. Normal magnetic field devices are generating a few frequencies and usually not so high frequencies. So they are using this mainly to improve the perfusion or something like that. But actually, you can also use the frequencies to address certain things. As we know, every frequency has a certain thing that it does. So a certain target that you can basically address with a frequency. And of course, with 12.5 megahertz, you have a very, very high spectrum of frequencies that you can use. Yeah, and of course the electromagnetic fields of the human bodies. I mean, we all know that. When I studied, I had magnetism in medicine, which was a very nice course. And there, one lesson was about a gradiometer. So gradiometer is basically a device that you use to measure magnetic fields that are very, very weak. And those gradiometers are usually cooled down by liquid nitrogen. So what we basically visited was an institute where they put this gradiometer, which is quite big. So it's, I cannot even, it's very big, directly over the heart in a basically closed environment. So all external magnetic fields are basically blocked in this environment or in this room. And then you can measure your ECG of your heart basically through this magnetic field. So you really see a really nice ECG going on in the measurement. So our heart creates such a big magnetic field that you can measure it, and you can use this to measure also your ECG. So that's a fact. So, and that's how our body actually creates magnetic fields. And of course, vice versa, our body can also be influenced by magnetic fields. And of course, our brain activity, heart function, central nervous system, yeah, they are all basically flooded with charged particles. And yeah, there we have those magnetic fields generated. And of course, those charged particles, as we saw in the slide before, can also be influenced by magnetic fields. So now, of course, the thing that we all waited for, the MagHealy Classic application. So the MagHealy Classic programs, what did we do? Basically looked at the whole market of magnetic field application and searched for all the programs or all the applications that actually make sense. And then we took those base frequencies with certain effects and enriched them by quantum analyzed frequencies. So basically, there the information field analysis comes in, as you know it from Healy. So we basically analyze which frequency you have the highest resonance with right now and apply this frequency quite easy. And we also patented basically this technology in this EU patent. You can look it up online. And there we basically have the infrared noise source of the MagHealy. And this noise source is influenced by our radiation, basically. And this we measure and then determine the right frequency. So that's just another milestone that we reached 2 weeks ago. There we also got the US patent, basically. And yeah, I made a presentation just a few days ago where I basically presented the patent and all the certifications we have and so on for Healy. And yeah, there I also mentioned this one. Yeah, and of course we did a study on those programs to see, okay, how is the effect in real life? Because I mean, you can all always theorize how good something is, but of course to test it, it gives you the final confirmation. And there we used the two programs, Positive Mood and Regeneration. And we applied different assessments. So the quality of life is a standard survey that you basically use, and decrease in concerns, the decrease in burnout, and increase in mood score. So those are usual surveys that you do before, after, and in the time in between. Basically, as you can see in the bottom, those 248 participants used for 14 days those programs. I mean, not all of them used it. Some of them were in the waiting group. And yeah, standard versus in the waiting group in this study was a standard Healy application. Yeah. Okay, yeah, MagHealy application. Good. And yeah, and actually, if you looked at the effect size, so how effective was this thing? It is for well-being, it's very large. For concerns, it's also very large. For burnout, it's large. And for mood, it's also very large. And that's quite an impressive result. So we were very happy with the results of this study. Good. Now let's wrap it up. So what did we hear about now? So On the one hand, we basically use the proven effects of magnetic fields in the classic application. Then we had already the effect of charged, that the magnetic field has basically on charged particles. Then also the effect on water molecules in the body, which are electrical dipoles. So that we didn't mention yet. So basically, water has also a dipole structure. So you have your two H's and your one O's, your one O. So water and oxygen basically. And those molecules are basically linked to each other through hydrogen bonds. And this, of course, is possible only because they are charged or are dipoles. And of course, you can also influence those dipoles with magnetic fields, as of course it's used in MRI. So in the MRI, you have 1 to 7 or maybe even more Tesla that are applied to your body. So basically, you use those dipoles, flip them in one direction, and then you basically get rid of the magnetic field, and then they basically flip back in another direction. That's what you actually measure if you have an MRI imaging. And of course, there you see those dipoles can be influenced by magnetic fields. Of course, the magnetic field of the Earth is also quite important. So the 7.8 hertz, this is also used, of course, when you talk about magnetic field applications. And local programs and systemic programs. So local programs are really important to understand. So some local applications, for example, on a joint or on an arm or something like, or on a muscle region. Those are local applications. There you need to basically put the magnetic field very near to this position. And then you have also, of course, systemic applications, which means you basically address the whole system of the body. And there you put the MagHealy, for example, on the stomach, because in the stomach you have a lot of blood flow, a lot of different tissues, and those basically are influenced then by the magnetic field. And then this whole or the information of the frequencies also can distribute basically through the whole body, through the stomach. And what I also prepared for you is a MagHealy Classic guideline. And what does that mean? So this is just a general guideline, basically a program plan for visualization with the MagHealy Classic programs. So usually you basically use on Mondays, you do always 5 days a week, because you should also not use Healy and MagHealy programs for at least 1 day in a week or 2 days in a week. And of course, you can use the weekend to basically not do magnetic field programs and use the weekdays to do them. I mean, that's of course according to your preference. But in this case, we have 5 days of application and vitality in the morning. In noon, we have energy circulation and cell harmony, which are basically iterated through the week. And of course, in the evening, regeneration, because we all know the most important thing for us humans, I don't want to say unfortunately, but is the regeneration. The more you do, the more you need to regenerate. That's also if you do a fitness training, or those really bodybuilders, they always say you need to train hard, but you also need to regenerate hard. So the more you train, the more you need to regenerate. So the more you work, the more you basically give energy in your loved projects, in your dreams, the more regeneration you also need. If you are not doing much because you are on holiday or something, you also don't need such a long regeneration phase. And please always take care that you acknowledge this regeneration phase. Meaning, give yourself time to regenerate. Meaning, if you are tired, sleep. If you feel you need a break, make a break. Don't use like something to push you, some coffee or something like that. No, really make a break, calm down, give your body the time to rest. Because if you give your body the time to rest, he will pay you back 10 times because you have much more energy afterwards, after you have the small regeneration phase, or of course in the evening, the big regeneration phase and the sleeping phase. And the more efficient, let's put it like that, your regeneration phases, the more happy and the more healthy you are. So if you go into bed early, so before 10 o'clock in the evening, then the most regenerative time is like in the first hours of sleep, and it's before 12 o'clock. But that's just a general tip. So from my side, I wish you all the best of luck on your way to holistic health. Use the MagHealy whenever you need help, regenerate in the evening, and follow your dreams and be successful. That's about what I wanted to tell you today. So thank you a lot. Martina already is gone because she needs to attend something else, urgent family matter. So I will basically tell you all the best for your evening, and I hope to see you in the next training, because we will of course also cover MagHealy, MagMakin application, and also atmosphere application. And if you need something to review something, just go to the Healy Academy and there you will find it. So I hope you enjoyed the call, and see you next time. Bye-bye.